So, are you unsure about gardening? Where to start? Do I grow food? Do I grow native plants? Well, you can never go wrong with starting a pot garden. Well, that sounds funny. I mean, a potted plant garden. Like this. I've got about 3 different varieties of herbs in each pot, and they all have a water tray because water is very important. So how do you make something like this? It's really simple. You just need some soil, some mulch, the pots and water trays, and of course, the plants themselves. Maybe you're interested in growing native plants, food plants, I don't know. But I think a great place to start is with herbs. So right here, I've got 4 buckets and 12 different herbs. Well, actually, it's 10 herbs and 2 flowering perennials. I think this is the best place to start for anyone who's brand new to gardening, because these are in pots. So even if you have an apartment balcony, I'm sure you have enough room for, 3 or 4 pots. I have plenty of room, and the reason I'm starting an herb garden in pots is because my wife and I want to start growing more of our herbs, but I want it to be friendly and accessible to her. She doesn't like going out across the landscape looking for things. She would rather come into our backyard, be greeted with these pots, get what she needs, and leave. They need very little water. Their biggest requirement is some sun. So we have 2 different types of mint, 2 different types of thyme, 2 different lavenders, 2 different rosemaries. We have a Mexican oregano and a bee balm. And then finally, we've got 2 perennial flowering plants just to attract some pollinators. So I've got 4 pots, and I separated my plants into groups of 3. So 3 plants go into each pot. And if you don't have a lot of soil, you can do what I did. This is actually just maybe about 2 inches of soil, and then it's pine needles and leaves for maybe about 4 inches, and at the very bottom, 3-4 inches, it's pine cones and sticks. That's because I didn't want to buy soil, and I've been using the rest of my soil for other projects. So there's no exact science to, which plants love being next to each other, especially for herbs. But I think a great rule of thumb is if you're planting in pots, always go for diversity. Always go for as many species as you can. Everything seems to grow better when there are friends nearby. And the only planting tip I really have for you is when you're about to plant your herbs, first of all, make sure you water the pots, but you'll see some of them will have some large roots, all the way at the bottom. And when you wet them, it's a lot easier to break them up. And I recommend that you do break up these roots of all the plants you put in the pots, just because it helps ensure the plant doesn't become root bound and essentially kind of strangle itself. And that way it also just starts growing quicker. To increase the likelihood that they survive and to decrease the amount of times I have to water, the frequency in which I water, I'm gonna put about 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches of mulch right on top, just to help conserve even more water and to protect the soil that I just put down. Let's get to it. I've actually just run out of mulch working on this last big pot. So what I'm going to do is just find some old cuttings, really leafy material, and just use that as a mulch. It doesn't need to be gorgeous and pretty, especially, you know, if this is your own private balcony. Just get something that's acting like a sponge. It's gonna capture that water and it's gonna shield your soil. Here's a quick pro tip. So when you buy your plants, they're all gonna come with a tag. And I just recommend holding on to that tag so you know exactly what varieties of plants you have where. Because I just kind of mixed mashed all of these, and it will be very helpful to know what I'm actually about to harvest. So the last pro tip is to get a water tray for all of your pots. I've got 3. I need to get one larger one for this big boy. Here in Texas, the sun is so hot and intense that I do need these water trays. Every drop of water counts. This is just to get you excited and to show you that herbs are really easy to grow. You know, you water them maybe once a week, a little more often here in Texas, probably less often in the north, and you'll get this permanent garden. You could have it on your balcony, you could have it, like for me, it's right outside my back door. I highly encourage you, go have some fun, just go do it. Don't wait, it's super easy. The plants do all the work. You just gotta, you know, assemble the puzzle pieces. All right, peace.